short tutorial on the use of web services. So oftentimes we need to interact with particular web pages. Our first thought is to interact with it from a GUI perspective, or the graphical user interface. For example, if you wanted to log into a website or create a script to log into a website, you would basically have to open the browser, you would have to specify the URL here, and then you would have to click on the username, the password, and then click on the sign in button. Now the issue here is you have to make sure that all the elements are ready, accessible, and oftentimes this proves to be very tedious and time consuming. Now the site that you're interacting with supports a web service, your life just got a whole lot easier. You see, a web service is a method of communication between two devices over the internet. Web services are comprised of three different programming elements. The first is a markup language called XML. The next is something we call SOAP, or Standard Object Access Protocol. And the last is what we call WSDL, or Web Service Definition Language. Now, XML is a markup language that kind of defines the rules for encoding a document. So these formats are both readable by humans as well as machines. Next, we have SOAP, which is a virtual envelope. Basically, what it does is this code acts as an introduction letter saying what's inside and where's it going. And last, we have the WSDL, which is the code that allows the different types of software to talk directly with each other. So the software can interact, without any human interaction. Now, today we're going to basically run through a quick example on how to use our web service action. Basically, the web service we're using will take in a zip code, and the return value it's going to give you the longitude, the latitude, and the state. So before we begin, we need to create a couple of variables that store the output and also store the input. So we'll come up here, we'll create a variable, and we'll call this var input, and we'll call this 90010, which is for Los Angeles. Now let's create one more variable, and we'll call this var output, and we'll leave this blank. Basically, the return value will be stored inside that one. Okay, so now we'll come over here, we'll use our web service. So basically what we'll do is we'll put the WSDL here, and once we put in this path, if you click go, the software will automatically evaluate for you. So it'll tell you what type, you kind of select what function. Now the next thing you need to do is, inside here, populate variable with the return type. We're going to click the drop down and select var output, which is basically what will contain the results. Now if we scroll down a little bit and we expand this arguments, inside here this is the input argument. So basically you need to tell them, okay, what zip code are we going to pass in? So inside here, what we'll do is we'll delete that. We'll click on the %, which lets us reference our variable, and we'll click input here. Then we'll click insert, and after that I think we're good to go, so we'll click OK. So now that we've got these three steps, let's run this and see what we get. So notice once we've run it, the input 90010 and the return value that we get, we know that the state, California, the longitude, and the latitude. And so we have all these results inside our software. Now you can use any of the text manipulations to parse out whatever part of the information that you want.